My guest today is business development specialist Richard Woodward. Richard helps clients to become effective at developing business. He's worked with organisations that seek sponsorship and funding, such as the National Gallery of Australia, the Heart Foundation and Taronga Zoo, and has helped a myriad of professional service businesses grow their client list. Richard is the author of Attract More Business, a monthly newsletter for business developers, and our subject, quite rightly, is how to attract clients. So welcome, Richard.
Thank you very much.
So Richard, let's imagine that the phone's not ringing a whole lot, things are a little bit quiet. What can we do to start attracting some business?
I think by far the best way is to get your prospects to experience you. Mm-hmm. And I mean experience in two ways. Yeah. Firstly, to experience you as a person, and that's really important because people like to work with people that they like. Okay. People they trust and people who see the world in the same way that they do. Mm. But secondly, to experience your business in terms of its capacity and ability to solve your problems. Okay.
So what are some ways we can do that?
Yeah, there's some very obvious ways.
Right.
I think first of all, a good way is going out and speaking to your audience. Mm-hmm. That could be at a very formal way, like at a conference, or something a little bit more informal, even a kind of one-on-one. Yeah. Writing articles, mm-hmm. which your audience will read, or even constructing events or going to events where your audience can sample your approach.
Okay.
But I think the mistake people make, given that opportunity, is that they tend to engage in a passionate conversation about their cause, their organisation, mm-hmm. their product or their service.
I think I know where you're going.
But don't tend to attract someone, because the key to attraction is talking about the issues that your prospect is facing.
Right, not what your company is all about.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's talking about their issues, giving them a sense of how you can and how they can solve their issues, and most importantly to demonstrate how you've helped other people in a similar situation to achieve outcomes.
Okay. All right, so first tip is get people to experience you,
yeah.
Writing, speaking, make sure that your subject matter is about the kind of the issues of your potential clients, not all about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Second point, where else do we go?
Well, I think the second thing is to provide evidence of how you've helped people. And evidence is really important for a number of reasons. Number one, if you can provide evidence, it builds trust in you. But more importantly, it gives people the confidence to go with you. Mm. And also it differentiates you from the myriad of people that claim things which are not true. And you only have to flick on any website, or most websites, to see people talking about how they are the world's leading expert in this, the world's leading expert in that. So how do you differentiate yourself? By providing evidence.
Okay.
So
and how do we sort of garner evidence?
Well, the best type of evidence is, I would argue, is a testimonial case study from someone you've worked with. Okay. And to get that, you have to ask for it. Yeah. And people don't necessarily volunteer it, but they will, generally speaking, if you ask one, give you a testimonial. Mm-hmm. But I think it's about what is in the testimonial that's important. It's about a testimonial that talks about maybe the way that you work together, but more importantly, the outcomes you got for them. So that could be increasing their confidence, increasing sales, and preferably some kind of measurement around it, maybe 100%, 30%, or whatever it is. But it's also important that the testimonial comes from a credible source.
Yes, of course.
So what I mean by that...
Not written by your best friend.
Well, no, not written by your best friend, but also, like if I wanted a testimonial from you, it would be Robert Gerrish, founder of Flying Solo, not RG from Santa Monica. Yes, it has to have some credibility.
Yeah. And increasingly these days I see people that are doing using video as well as a means of getting testimony, which seems to be, this day and age, very effective. You're really seeing and hearing somebody speaking about somebody else. It's very powerful.
Well, I think it is powerful. It provides the evidence and proof. But I think, again, in that, and I saw one yesterday, and I thought, I wasn't convinced, because I wasn't convinced by the person giving the testimonial. Okay. So I didn't know who they were. So I think it's very important that if you do get a testimonial, it is from someone, ideally, who carries a little bit of weight.
Okay. So it needs to be very clear who that person is and exactly what the outcome of your work was. Yeah.
And also, ideally, in the same kind of market space that the person looking at the testimonial will be.
All right, so experience you, evidence, next point.
Well, I think the third key point is you've got to have a plan. Mm-hmm. And a plan for being for attracting clients, and so often people don't have that. If you don't have a plan, it's not going to happen. Right. So if I'm working with people, what I want to see is where are you going to go this year to attract the people you're not even aware of yet.
And they're not aware of you.
No, exactly. Because a lot of the people I work with, they have prospect lists. And in those prospect lists, it has the same old companies, which everyone is targeting. The people who are very clever, they get out amongst their audience, start attracting them by talking about their issues, like I described before. But the beauty of that is that people come out of the woodwork, people, organisations that you're not aware of, and they maybe weren't aware of you.
Yeah.
So what it does, it increases your prospect universe. And not just increasing your prospect universe, but it tends to attract people to you who are the kind of people that like what you say, have a need, and they kind of think, yeah, I can work with you. And that is so much more powerful than maybe having a prospect list of 100 people, phoning them all up,
same old.
Yeah, cold calls, same as everyone's doing.
Sure.
And so using the speaking analogy, if you're doing a talk for 45 minutes and there's 100 people in the room, that is like doing 100 sales calls in 45 minutes.
Absolutely.
But much more powerful, because at the end of it, if there's 5 people in the room that like you, they come to you.
Yes,
that's
attraction.
That's attraction. That is very different from approaching 100 people, getting 95 knockbacks, which creates a negative reinforcement to find those 5 people. But you might not even find those 5 people because they haven't actually experienced you.
Richard, thank you so much for spending time with us. If we want to, so you publish a monthly newsletter?
Yeah, Attract More Business.
Tips, okay. And thank you again for joining us.
Absolute pleasure, thank you.